Today I was going about the 25th Amendment, which is something that um, the states adopted about 25 years ago, 51 years ago, excuse me, 51 years ago, and it's a complex way to declare that the president is unfit for office. And there are three or four different steps you can go through, and some of them have already been used where, like if a president has a quick operation or something, minor surgery for one day, then the vice president would step in and take over, because you got to have somebody running the government. If the president gets a shot and he's out on the table, and we get a call from China or North Korea, who's going to talk to him? So the vice president would automatically take over immediately. And this 25th Amendment was adopted in 1967. And the first, and it's been used several times, the first and second sections were used in 1974 when Richard Nixon resigned the presidency and was replaced by Gerald Ford immediately. Because Nixon, they worked on him, and Ford said he resigned, so Ford said he took over. And then Ford subsequently nominated Nelson Rockefeller to be vice president, and Rockefeller was confirmed by the House and the Senate. You wonder how this 25th Amendment came about, and the one way was in the aftermath of John F. Kennedy assassination in 1963. Most of the people today listening probably heard it or know about it or seen some of the things that happened, and that was really how the first time we used it. John F. Kennedy was killed, shot, so Lyndon Johnson took over immediately, and he became president. And then there was something saying, well, what if Lyndon Johnson fell ill or was incapacitated before his replacement was found? Congress formally proposed at that time the 25th Amendment in the summer of 1963, and the amendment became part of the Constitution in February 1967. 38 states ratified it. 9 more states later ratified it. 3 states, Georgia, North Carolina, North Dakota, and South Carolina, have never ratified it. So I don't really know what that means since they haven't ratified it, but that's the way it came down. And there's several sections in this 25th Amendment, and there's one section, then two. First one talks about a president dying or resigning, and then we know the vice president would take over. Second one is about when there's a vacancy in the office of vice president, then the president should nominate a replacement who will take office once he or she is confirmed by majorities in both houses of Congress. So that would mean something happened to the vice president. He got sick, he died, he was shot at, or whatever. The third section allows the president to temporarily delegate his authority to the vice president. And that's what I talked about to start with. If he was getting some medical treatment and they were shooting him up and he was out, I don't care if it's for 1 minute or 1 second or 10 seconds, when he's out, the vice president has to be taken over, and that has to be arranged before he gets the shot. because we cannot go with the president out and nobody taking his place. The last one that they talked about in this code, this 25th Amendment, and it's sort of tough. How would it actually work if it was invoked now? The fourth section, the one contemplated by the anonymous, the guy who wrote this anonymous essay in the Times says that this has never been used. The fourth part of the 25th Amendment. Now, the first step would be for Vice President Mike Pence and the majority of the cabinet to provide a written declaration to the president, and they give it to him pro temp of the Senate, currently Orrin Hatch of Utah, and the Speaker of the House, currently Paul Ryan of Wisconsin. They give him this written declaration that Trump is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. That would immediately strip Trump of the powers of his office and make Pence the acting president. But it's not that simple. Then the 25th Amendment would immediately allow Trump to send a written declaration of his own to Hatch and Ryan, his own declaration. That would immediately allow him to resume his duties. Unless Pence and the cabinet sent another declaration to the congressional leaders within 4 days restating their concerns. Pence would then take over as acting president. The declaration would require Congress to assemble within 48 hours and to vote within 21 days. If 2/3 of the members of both the House and the Senate agreed that Trump was unable to continue as president, he would be stripped permanently of the position and Pence would become president of the United States. If the vote in Congress fell short, Trump would resume his duties. Thank you.